Sikhism is a new religion. The Sangat here a long time ago when I was younger in Seattle was a lot smaller. A lot of your efforts, a lot of the community's efforts have broken down barriers. But I'm going to talk about how combat breaks down barriers. The Sikh soldiers from World War I or even before World War II, it doesn't matter. We're just talking about Sikh soldiers. Soldiers just look at themselves as soldiers because no one looks at how you look like, what you have on when you're in combat. All they think about is, when the shooting starts, are you going to be there to help me? And that's how combat breaks down barriers. So I was absolutely, it was my honor and privilege to work alongside the U.S. military and many other nations, where half of my combat operational experience was actually with U.S. troops, working directly for the U.S. military. And I'll share a story, actually two stories. When I was, first time I was going to work with the U.S. unit, a soldier comes up to me, and I didn't know how I would be accepted. It's a new unit. I already had experience, they had experience, and most of these guys were special forces with the U.S. Rangers. And one sergeant comes up to me. He goes, "Oh, sir, you're a Sikh." I served with Sikhs in many parts of the world for jungle warfare training. And here's a person who I thought knew who Sikhs were, knew exactly who I was. So at the same time, I had to look at myself. I cannot look at other people in a certain way, just as I don't want people to look at me. And then we went out, and for the next month, the amount of combat we faced, and worked literally as a band of brothers. It was absolutely amazing, and I can share with you one experience how my time with U.S. soldiers was so profound. At times, for as soldiers, we know how to shoot, but sometimes we need the courage of not to shoot. We were in an ambush once in Kandahar province. It was a very long and deep ambush. We came under fire, and the Taliban also were firing from an area where civilians were, knowing that if we fired back, we would hit civilians. The U.S. soldiers that I was working with, I was absolutely proud of them and proud to actually work with them, because when it came time, when they saw civilians, even though we were taking fire, an intense enemy fire, they stopped firing and we just kept moving through. We were taking fire, and I looked at them and said, "Wow, you know what? You are just as much of a Sikh as I am for the courage that you have." And I was absolutely amazed to be with them. And then I realized when I looked around, no one looked around at what you look like, it's what you can do. That's what it means by combat breaks down barriers. But now, as we go in and have breaking down these barriers, we can never forget that. We cannot let these barriers come between us. We cannot let these barriers come between our communities. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs to just serve the nation that they call home. And I'd like to end off with one important note that I hold very dear. Doctors, lawyers, everybody needs to succeed in their own way. And from a selfish note, what I can say, and I can speak on behalf of the three warriors that are sitting here next to me, there is absolutely no greater honor to serve the nation you call home. And these three gentlemen, these three warriors are doing so, and many other soldiers around the world. Vaisakhi ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi.